So here's the resource I've created for the OCR, EP, AS and A-level oral task. You can see it's an e-learning resource, which means it can be used on PCs, on tablets and mobile devices, and students can use them at their convenience wherever and whenever they need to or want to. So let's take a look at the resource. So you can see up here on the left we have a menu with all the content required for the oral task. There's an introduction to start with. When the students click on that, the resource will start automatically. There's an introductory video first of all to show students how to use it, and then from there, if we go to the next slide, which is what's required, as I said, video, the slide starts automatically. Once they play through the slide, there's a number of interactive options for them. So if we just follow those, there's usually pulsating buttons which indicate there's more content available to listen to, and they can pick up what's required on each of these.
So the verbal response itself.
There's also a quiz so that students can check their understanding once they've listened to what's required, and then they can drag some statements to whether they think they are correct or incorrect responses, and then submit their responses. They'll get feedback as to whether that's correct or not and be directed to move forward, or to go back and listen again if they haven't got the correct responses. And then we come to the main body of the EP, which are the strengths and weaknesses.
So in terms of strengths, there were plenty of strengths.
The way that I've structured this is that for each slide I have included the strengths and weaknesses. It's a fictitious piece of analysis that I've looked at, but what I've done is every time I've made a point, it's on the slide, and hopefully this indicates to students the importance of being very specific. This becomes clearer when we look at the application of theory. So I've gone through the strengths, the weaknesses of all the requirements of the OCR. I've also included justification and then progressive practices.
First progressive practice I would do.
And you will see with progressive practices that there are 6 progressive practices that I've included. There's an explanation and some animation as well when on the right hand side here, and then when that's finished I've included detailed coaching points as well, so you get the detailed an action plan or development plan and the coaching points on these slides. Then you move on to the application of theory, and there's a good amount of detail in each of these. So there's movement analysis.
So in terms of stages of learning, I've put the performer, I think.
And there's the psychological factors as well, as you can see there. So I've got movement analysis, aerobic capacity, periodization, all the way through there. Each of these slides, finishing with social facilitation, include lots of content and the key terminology which is required. I finish with
so in terms of measuring progress,
the pre and post test measurements which are required to show progress, as you probably heard there, and that includes everything that is required, I think, for the oral task. And I'm sure that it will be a really useful resource for all of your students. It's especially useful if you haven't got time or enough time to teach this part of the course in your timetabled lessons. I hope you find it useful.